What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one wants to just briefly talk about the news affecting Tesla and what's going on with the market right now. And I just wanted to talk about Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. But before I break things up, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just say a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moon link, which is down below and in the description. We sign up for Moon with the link down below and deposit $100 into the account. You're guaranteed 5 free stocks. This offer ends in just about 12 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. Then I'm going to talk about Tesla's news. So right now, the market is being driven by fear, as we saw the JOLTS job openings report ending up showing more job openings than expected. So why is this important? We got well over 9 million job openings. We were expecting like 8.8 million. This is just according to the data. Why is that important? Because the Fed is going to be incentivized to be more hawkish again because the jobs numbers are on paper looking relatively strong. That's not what the market wants. So when it comes to Tesla, I just wanted to call out a couple of things. We have this clear head and shoulders on the chart, but it doesn't look like Tesla's just going to continue selling off like crazy because of it. I believe that there's a potential for Tesla to try to like rebound just a little bit. And it may end up failing because we have some bullish divergences on SPY and the QQQ. And the market sold off very hard today. It became very oversold and it is due for a slight bounce. So on SPY, you can see we have this clear bullish divergence that developed. It's also on the MACD. If 420 is going to be the temporary bottom, we could see a small little bounce towards this like 423 area. And then we may end up selling off more depending on how it goes. But my guts tells me this. If we gap below 420, we end up breaking below it, we're going to see 418.5. There's a good chance the market's going to gap up and try bouncing first before we end up selling off more because of this bullish divergence and because of the current trend. Now, I can't promise that, but I believe it's very probable that either way, there's going to be more selling pressure. So even if we do get some kind of pop towards 424 before we sell off, or if we fail to do so, the market is going to sell off more nonetheless. But I just wanted to call that out that there may be a little pop first before we sell off more, or we could just sell off from here. Same thing with Tesla. Tesla has the clear head and shoulders on the 4-hour time frame. It could sell off from here and come all the way down to 240, or it could bounce towards 248 first before it continues to sell off. Either way, I do see Tesla selling off, and I believe that's very probable as we have to watch that 240 level. Now, for a key support, watch 245. We're going to be watching to see if Tesla holds that. If it holds it, there's a chance that this inverse head and shoulders that's slanted could make an attempt to play out. If Tesla ends up failing to hold 245, it's going to start sinking much lower. So watch these levels very carefully. For Aapl, if this thing breaks below, 172, we could see it start sinking lower. It may rebound towards 173 first before it sells off more. I find that very probable for now. For the QQQ, same thing. Watch for a rebound towards 357. 356. If it rejects off that, it's going to start sinking towards 353. If that fails us, we're going to be watching this thing sink towards 350. My guts tells me it's going to rebound a bit first before it starts selling off more. Same thing with Nvda. Could retest 440 before it starts selling off to fill this gap down here. There's a gap down towards 430. I think it's going to test 430 first before anything. But that's what I'm leaning in for the short term. When it comes to Tesla, some news came out. The Cybertruck is like a rocket from a standstill. So this is great news because the Cybertruck is a very bullish catalyst for Tesla. And once the launch date is confirmed, it's going to be absolutely incredible. Now, in my opinion, I think Tesla is just very, very powerful and it looks absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to see what else ends up coming out. With the Cybertruck looking as great as it does, I can't wait to see the maximum torque and all these different specs come out for it once they're officially confirmed. And we're going to be watching to see how this ends up helping Tesla as time goes on. I believe it's going to lead to a lot more sales, and I'm very excited for what's about to come. Now, there's this news that came out about how the Tesla autopilot arbitration win could set the legal benchmark in the auto industry. This is important because in a victory for Tesla, the California federal judge, they basically ruled over the weekend that a group of Tesla owners cannot pursue in court claims that the company falsely advertised basically its automated features. Instead, they have to do it on an individual arbitration basis. Now, This isn't necessarily a win for the defensibility of Tesla's advanced FSD or autopilot or driver assist systems, but it does actually give them a big win for their terms and conditions. And this actually helps Tesla to some extent because now it makes things a little bit more difficult for their for litigation to like get Tesla in a much larger manner. And the thing is, Tesla does make it very clear what the FSD can and cannot do because it's just a beta and it's not expected to be perfect. Now, could Tesla be liable for certain things? The answer is yes. It is a real possibility, but that's not my job to decide. That's going to be the job of a judge or someone else. To add on to this, there was news that came out about Leno driving the Tesla Semi and tow another Semi with it, which is very, very cool. This goes to show how powerful it tends to be. You guys can see in the video how powerful the semis are looking. Now, typically, a lot of people talk about how the overall hauling power needs to be higher on the semis, but we don't really have the full idea of the specs, but they are very powerful. You have to remember that these things are incredibly heavy. And on top of that, they could travel very long distances. They could charge very quickly. And the biggest thing worth mentioning is that most cargo trucks are not fully filled up when they tow things. And I believe that these things have incredible towing power. It's not going to be a major issue. What could become an issue would be getting to enough destinations on time. If there are enough charging stations that could help them as quickly as possible. And other issues include like some specs and things that we're still going to be looking into. But for now, I just think that this is very, very cool, very optimistic, and I'm very excited to see how this ends up performing as time goes on. Now, last but not least, I just wanted to mention that there are new things coming out for the FSD software update. Also, Tesla's latest release notes. We have multiplayer vampire survivor games, which is pretty funny. Locations sharing has a new icon and new pieces of data. Windows during update, once again, you can see right over here that the windows may adjust a little bit so the doors can open and close more easily. They also return to their position after the update. There's also a new language. There's Hebrew added to it, which is good news for them. Improved autopilot visuals, which is a lot better. Improved reverse camera view and more details like this, which are continuing. I think some of these were talked about in the past already. So just wanted to note that Tesla's continuing to improve, and I'm very excited for the long term of the company. For the short term, there could be more downside with this head and shoulders that is forming on the share price. This could lead to more downside, sure, but it's going to be okay because this is just another buying opportunity. Now, I just wanted to call out one last thing from a seasonality basis. The market does tend to pump during the first 1 to 2 weeks of October, and then it tends to sell off. But this time around, because the 10-year treasury yield is continuing to soar, this is bearish for the stock market as it's just continuing to look strong over and over again because overall mortgages are just continuing to go up, mortgage rates and these yields. So it's once again causing the market to drop even more with more recessionary fears. Does this guarantee a recession has to happen immediately? Not necessarily, but it is most likely on the table as the Fed is going to remain restrictive. So with that said, Tesla may pop and drop tomorrow specifically. And if there's more downside for Tesla, I just see this as another buying opportunity because the long term is still very bright for this company. All right. So thank you for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day, guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next video. Thank you and peace out.